Alright, the last video for the moment. I've done 7 videos back to back, and now this one. It's the last one. It's an interesting one. Guys, did you know Eric Bischoff wanted to do a storyline where he wanted to fake his death? He wanted to fake his damn death. Okay, this has now become very interesting. Now, I'm sure he might have told a couple of people once in a while, but he said on a podcast, I think his own, or someone else's, I'm not sure, that he wanted to do a storyline. At the time, the guy's name was, who was the current president of Turner Sports, because Turner owned it, but he wasn't the president of it. And it was, Harvey Schimmer? What was it? Schumer. I believe his name is Schumer. He was the current president at the time, and he went to his wife, and he also went to the president of Turner and said, look, I actually am a pilot. I have my own plane, I guess a Cessna. I think he got a Cessna. He said, look, how about this? Let's do a storyline where I'm flying my Cessna around the Grand Canyon, but for some reason I decided to go to Mexico, fly over Mexico. And then the FAA loses track of me, and then I disappear, like I died. And as far as anyone's concerned, I'm dead. No one knows, but then I come back. They just don't know what happened to me. Now, I'm sure many people are going to say, dude, that's kind of like a storyline where someone gets blown up like in WWE. Remember the trucks they've done, the limos that have been done, where you thought that Vince McMahon died? I'm not telling you that he bit off of that. I'm not telling you that Vince bit off of Eric, or Eric set it up for that one. I'm not saying he would. But this is a very interesting situation because Eric wanted to do something like that. Would have been very ballsy back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Because that's when it would have happened. I think maybe in 99 or 2000 he would have had it, because I don't remember the time when he talked about it. But if Eric had done that, if Eric had managed to get that storyline done, that would have really hurt WWE at the time. Let's be honest here, guys. Do you actually believe that Vince would have been able to recover from something like that? That would have exploded the ratings. But let's make this very clear. It would have exploded the ratings, but due to the fact of how the Turner AOL deal fell through, that was possibly around near that same time. Even with that, would that have saved WCW? Now, a lot of people would say, we don't know. Now, let's speculate a little bit. Let's say it did save it. Let's say it brought in a huge revenue, a lot more than what Turner would have expected compared to the AOL deal that fell through, that had hundreds of millions of dollars behind it. If this storyline exploded the interest of the fans enough to start putting huge amounts of money into the company, buying even more merch, buying the pay-per-views, doing whatever they wanted. Let's say it did. Then they could have held out maybe an extra year or 2 or 3. You never know. If that incredible amount of boost had stayed with the company. Because remember, there was nothing left after the AOL deal fell through. And he wanted to keep from having Chapter 11 to Turner. I believe it was not Chapter 7. I think it might have been Chapter 11, where they reorganized. Or was that Chapter 7? I can't remember which one. But that might have stretched it from, instead of 2001 when Vince bought the company, to maybe 2003 or 4. You never know. And that would have been a really big hit to maybe TNA. Because there was no more WCW by that time. In 2002, TNA just shot off. And 2001 is around the time when Vince bought the place. And when he bought it and then merged it with WWE, the only thing you had left was the new upstart TNA. Because ROH, who was also around that time, did not stand a chance. And NWA was debunked by that time. So there was no other companies. But if WCW had stretched beyond 2001 to 2003 or 4, that could have hurt TNA. That could have hurt it. that could have also hurt ROH as well, because they were around that time as well. Because if there was still a WCW in existence, where would you rather go? Would you rather go to ROH, that was an upstart, brand new company starting up, or TNA, which is a brand new company starting up when its own title didn't exist yet? It was the NWA title for TNA at that time. It was TNA and NWA. They were combined right now with their titles. They were working back and forth. Their own champion. Sting was one of the first people who won it. I don't know if they would have survived. Because if TNA didn't have any competition other than ROH, they wouldn't have survived. They would have gone under. I really do believe they would have gone under, because they wouldn't have stood a chance. Every one of the people want to still go to WCW. So, seeing that this happened, that was the speculation. If it had happened, and even things had gone through, what would have helped? That's a big question. I wish I could answer it. I can't. I can't tell you. We now know that the AOL deal was the thing that Turner really needed to keep the company going, his Turner Broadcasting. And it went out. It didn't make it. And one of the few companies he still had that was making money was WCW, but by that time it wasn't doing very well. By nearing the end of the year of 2000, and WWE had finally caught up. They finally started breaking them from, like, here was WCW who was leading. Here's this. By 2000, they were about here, and then they just went off. So I don't know if that would have saved the company or even allowed them to stretch a little bit more. Now you could say, what would have happened if AOL didn't fail and went through? Well, I don't know. They were still failing WCW, and maybe Vince might have still tried to buy it. It would probably be higher than what Vince would have wanted, but I think he would have still bought it, because I don't think Turner would have kept the company if it was failing that much, even if the AOL deal went through. I just don't know if he would have kept it. I think he would have still sold it, even if AOL had succeeded in the merger with Turner Broadcasting. But that's just my speculation. I don't know. I really don't know if it would have worked or it didn't work. But you guys tell me below, do you believe the AOL deal could have gone through? If it had, WCW would have stayed with Turner and not be bought by Vince McMahon? Or do you believe even if he had won it, what will we really get? Tell me what you think, if this makes any sense. And I hope you enjoy this last, possibly not the last, of the Gump goodness. Peace.